Well, good evening, everyone. I hope that this evening finds you well. I'm sorry I'm a little late tonight. Forgive me, please. It's been a rather interesting day today. But in any case, I hope this finds you well tonight. Welcome to Hearthkeepers of the Earth. And it is 7:50 p.m. Pacific time here in Glendale, Arizona. I hope you're all doing really well tonight. I hope you're all at peace. Everybody's safe. Everybody's most likely, many of us are getting ready to get the kids ready for bed or to go to school in the morning. That's not unusual. You know, you got family, you got family. Well, I was supposed to actually talk about me almost getting it by a bear in West Virginia years ago. But I was looking at the schedule here, and it says here I was supposed to be talking about something a little bit more serious tonight. And so I think I'll do that because it seems like I've been getting a lot of email from young women, even older women who've never been married or are not married or have single families, single parents. I've gotten a few emails from young men and a couple of older men um, questioning me about what they consider a woman is. What is a woman? What they call a good woman? Everybody says, "Oh, I want a good woman." You got a good woman. Well, what does that really mean? Well, what does a good woman really mean? Is what I'd like to know. And I think a lot of people would like to know, what do you mean by a good woman? Well, there's a learning there's a learning curve, okay? Um, Most women don't understand about being a woman if their mothers themselves, if their mothers did not know how to be good women to themselves. And it starts out with learning to be good and honest and keeping your word to yourself. That's where it starts, really. Um, Keeping your own counsel and making sure you keep um, and honor yourself, honor your body, take care of your body physically, emotionally, spiritually, however that comes to you. Um, and that's where it actually starts. And you can't always blame your mom because, frankly, nobody comes with a guidebook, and nobody's perfect. They're perfect maybe for us, but as individuals, but no one is perfect. No one has the definitive, absolute on how to be a really good woman. However, there's a lot of writings, people who are religious. I am not. I will not espouse to any religion whatsoever, although I have studied quite a few religions. Um, and there are almost every religious scriptures have chapters in them that outline the power and the beauty and the honor that women hold on this planet as women, as females. And I don't think a lot of women are taught this. They're not taught how valuable they are when they first come into the world. We come into the world very valuable, but as we grow older and we get into the society and it gets jaded, and the more technology we have, um, the more skewed things seem to get. so that our reality about ourselves, the lines are so blurred that we can't even see ourselves anymore, um, and what that means. And so I'm going to address it the way I learned it for myself. And understand this may not apply to you. If you don't think it applies to you, that's fine. But my advice is take out of this what best serves you, that will help you be a better you as a woman in your household, whether you're single or married or stay at home or work and are a housekeeper, a homemaker rather. So where I'm taking this from the King James version of the Bible. There are other passages in other books, but I didn't get all those down. So I'm just starting with this. I will not get through all of it tonight. I'll have to do this in two parts, but I'll get through a lot of it tonight. And so I'm going to do a lot of reading and um, I, I'm going to give you my take on it and how I have used this book myself to become a better wife when I was a wife um, to my husband who passed away. And this is the book that um, I aspired to be more like for my sake and for my husband's sake, because it worked. It worked for me. And I met these guidelines. I made it a point to try and be this virtuous woman. Okay, what I mean by virtuous, let's start with the word virtuous. Virtue, what is your virtue? That which you hold most dear, most holy, most sacrosanct um, in your life. Um, and perhaps, and I'm not talking about your vanity, and I'm talking about your eyelashes, your makeup, whether you got big tatas or big booty or skinny or whatever. I'm not talking about that. Virtuous as in what you think about yourself, how you hold yourself, if you respect yourself as a person. Virtuous in that um, when people see you or around you or come near you, they take a step back a little bit out of respect, not out of fear or anger, or just because they automatically see you are a person of value that needs to be respected. So it says here, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies, and I believe that myself. Um, I've known a lot of women in my life who there's not enough money in the world that I could pay them back for what they've done for me. They're they're so valuable that there's not enough gold, rubies, diamonds, or anything else and that could possibly um, do for me what they did. And so, yes, her price is above rubies. Let's start with the first one. That's Proverbs 31:11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Now, if people get that mixed up, no need of spoil, that is that he does not have to gain material wealth at the expense of others' sacrifice. She makes sure that he doesn't have to gain his material wealth by using or abusing other people. She actually helps to monitor and be a conscience for her husband or her partner so that he doesn't or she doesn't take advantage of other people. Number 12, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. In that she'll speak kindly of him or her and praise his efforts as the head of the household. A man does not require a lot. Okay, he really doesn't. He has he has very simple needs, um, but his ego is a lot more complex, and his emotions are more complex than we give men credit for. So keep that in mind, ladies, while you're busy out there with these men. Don't be playing with these men, okay? They do have emotions that are pretty fragile. You have to be careful with them. I know it doesn't seem like it, and they are strong, but they can be hurt because they're human, just like you or I. So she will speak kindly of him and to him and praise his efforts at the head of the household. Okay. They need the praise. They need to be said, honey, I appreciate you. I thank you for working so hard. If you're working with him outside the home, you'll be doing that for each other. No doubt about that. But if you are lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom, um, that's something that you really should be doing, praising yourself and praising your husband, and appreciate what he does as the head of the household. Okay, number 13. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. That means she's not lazy. She goes out, she finds a raw product. Okay, she finds some raw product, and then she works that product uh, so that she can do something with it, and make something out of it, to help her or her family, whether it be making clothes or selling it. And that means she's not lazy, and she doesn't bear any grudges against, oh, I shouldn't have to do this. No, she doesn't do that. She doesn't bear any grudges against the work she does, because she knows it's extremely valuable and absolutely necessary for the working of her home, and for the peace of her home. Number 14. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. Now, here's one that's close to my heart, uh, in that a virtuous woman chooses wisely how to find and buy the best food for her family and the people in her household that she can, to best sustain them. Okay. And if that means she's got to go next to the next village to do that, she'll do that. But she'll bring it back. Okay. She brings it back and makes sure that everybody has what they need, and her family and her household is well provisioned. Okay. Number 15. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. Now, in that day and age and time, many of the households had young women as servants, and yes, they were slaves, but I'm not going to get into that. But the virtuous woman always made sure everyone was cared for equally and properly, through her efforts to make sure that everyone had food, everyone had a bed to lay in, everyone had clothing to wear, everyone had shoes, everyone made sure that they had enough food to eat to carry out their duties throughout the day, that everyone was respectful and did not mistreat one another. She made sure that everyone got what they needed: food, shelter, and respect. This is very powerful. Women are not just there to be there. We're not just there to be laying on our backs having sex. There's so much more to us than we give ourselves credit for, and people have perverted and warped. Number 16. She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands, she planted the vineyard. She's an entrepreneur. Guess what, ladies? Yes, you can be a housewife and an entrepreneur. This woman, the virtuous woman, is an entrepreneur and a farmer, and She bought the land and planted the fruits to make the wine for her tables. In that day and age, um, they drank wine, but not fermented. It was not, most of the religions did not drink fermented wine. It was really basically juice, but it was not fermented. But a virtuous woman could see the value of a piece of land, and would save up her money or take a portion of the money her husband gave her, and she would go out and buy that property, that land. And she would plant on that land a vineyard, because she knows that vineyard would not only provide for her family the wine or juice they needed for Shabbat and for their holy days, or whatever, but also to sell, to make money. And once again, she's doing multitasking. She's providing for her family on one hand. On the other hand, she is an entrepreneur. I think that's great. Talking about a tough lady. I mean, she's got it going on. Okay, 17. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. Now, that's all that ifs and inks and all that stuff. Well, don't worry about that. This is basically saying what it sounds like. This woman could perform her duties well because she took care of her body and to keep fit and to keep healthy, so that she stayed strong to do the things that she knew had to be done throughout the day and throughout the year, throughout the month. She took care of her body. She didn't get overweight. She didn't get underweight. She got the proper exercise, of course, because she was always doing something. And so, but she was strong. She wasn't weak. She wasn't eating bonbons and expecting somebody to come by and do everything for her, even though she had maidens and servants. She still worked. She herself did work. She was not sitting on her tata, She worked. 18. She perceived that her merchandise is good, and her candle goeth not out by night. Now, a virtuous woman paid attention to the quality of her merchandise that was for sale, and she would do so and make sure that it was quality. Late into the evening, that's why the candle wouldn't go out at night. The candle would be out for a long time, because before she woke up in the morning, she wanted to make sure that the product that she was making was fit and perfect to go out to be sold the next day. So she was once again back to being an entrepreneur and making sure her household is well provisioned. She layeth, on 19, she layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. Now, the virtuous woman will have many skills. She's not she's not a one-trick pony. I don't know many women myself. I don't know many women anyway, but I don't know many women in my lifetime that had only one skill. They had quite a few. They had to, because they had homesteads. I was born in the city, but I'm not really from the city. But we had to have a lot of skills. So it included making materials to make clothing for herself and her family. I've carded wool, I've spun wool. It's hard work. It's hard, tedious, boring work, but it needs to be done. And if you're going to weave clothing and make cloth for your clothes, it has to be done. Some women did specialize in those things. Other women specialized in other things, but they still had to take care of the rest of the family, regardless of that. So she had to make those materials, clothing for herself and her family, and often she could actually sell some of those products. Once again, she's a multitasker, and a business wife, a wife at home, provider, and a homemaker. And this is a powerful woman. This isn't some weakling, whiny person who's going, oh, gimme, gimme, gimme. This woman is going out there and getting it, okay, and still taking care of her husband, her children, her home, the people who serve her at home. She's still doing her part. Okay, number 20. She stretches out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. Wow. Well, as a woman, as I do, that we have a tendency, most of us, to be nurturers of our family. But we're also nurturers of our community, where those of lesser means are ministered to. So a virtuous woman is a generous, kind-hearted person who tries to go out in her community and help as best she can those less fortunate than herself. She makes the time. Somehow she makes the time. I can't imagine how. Sometimes if you really want to look at it, ladies, sit down one night but after everybody's gone to bed, take out 2 pieces of paper, one on the left, one on the right. Okay, write down everything you did on the left that day, just for that day. And now on the right-hand side, try to figure out each one, how you got it done. How long did it take you? You got it done. All this stuff on the left, you got it done. Now, I dare you to sit there and write on that second page how you got it done. Most women will go, I have no idea. I just did it. Well, that's the way women are. They take care of everybody. They try to. But the thing is, they have to take care of themselves. 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her household. For all her household are clothed in scarlet. Scarlet being a beautiful color, of course, but it's a warm color. Now, a virtuous woman, once again, makes sure that the people of her home have what they need to protect themselves from suffering from a changing environment. Everybody has shoes and shirts and clothing and blankets, and hair pieces and all the holy clothing that needs to be done for the holy days, etc. ad nauseum. She makes sure that everyone has what they need. She doesn't shirk anybody. That means whether they are her servants, slaves, children, husband, she makes sure that they have what they need so they don't suffer. And she has what she needs. 22. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Now, this is a good-looking woman. She is not vain, but she represents herself in her best and most approachable and most respectful countenance, the cleanest, most beautiful clothes that she can manage to have, so that she is neat and clean and presentable at all times. Well, of course, when you're dealing with principalities and powers who are buying your products, when you're dealing with servants and business people in the market, you want to be recognized as someone to be respected, because you respect yourself by keeping yourself up. You keep your clothes clean and cared for, and you're looking your best, the very best you know how, and approachable. 23. This is my favorite verse out of all of them, of course, because this is where I strove to be. This is what I strove to be for my husband. And I will say that I did get to actually fulfill this particular one. It's 23. Proverbs 31:23. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Well, in a lot of the cities, you had to, it was surrounded with there was always a gate, a big arch or pillars with a gate where people came in and out to do their uh, um, uh, merchandising and selling and so forth. And a lot of the trading went on at the gates by the men of wealth, by the men of power. They would gather at the gates to, uh, barter and try to outbid each other on on their products and try to get the best deal. They had to do that. But it says her reputation is so honored that her husband is praised because her very reputation and productive work is acknowledged by those who hold high and low office. In other words, when people saw my husband or met my husband without me, he would often come home and tell me and love me and smile and kiss my face and say, so and so and so and so I met today. Oh, really? You did? They asked me, isn't that isn't that Mama B's husband? Yes. They knew me by my work. They knew me by what I did with my hands, by my painting, my building, my gardening, my canning. They knew me, and they recognized and honored my husband because they knew about the work of my hands. They knew about the work of his too. But when it came right down to it, he was lifted up. I lifted him up before me, and he was recognized because of me. And I wanted that so much. And I actually managed to do that. Um, I didn't manage to do everything in here, but I did manage to get that one done. Number 24, she maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strengthen and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. We're talking about being an entrepreneur again and having an entrepreneurial spirit and enjoying it, enjoying doing these things and reaping the fruits of your labor and not being ashamed of it, but not neglecting your husband or your family or your home, but being able to do many things for many reasons so that your home is maintained. And that's powerful. We're much stronger than we allow ourselves to uh, to to believe. We are not like men. There are things that men can do that we just can't do. Okay, I mean, I helped my husband build houses. Okay, um, and I did things that I probably should not have done. I'm paying for it now. Trust me. Um, Things like picking up big rocks and playing around with cement all day long. And there are things that you just really shouldn't do as a female, physically, physiologically speaking. There are things that we shouldn't do because it wears on us so badly. And we're not really built for certain things anyway. Our upper bodies, we can strengthen our upper bodies, very much so. We can power lift, we can do all those things. But there's a price. There's a price for everything, ladies. There's a price for everything. Number 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to read for this one tonight. I will continue this another day, but this is the one that gets women in trouble. This is the one that keeps men from approaching women who are ready to settle into a lifestyle, who really want to. And I'm going to put this out there for you guys to yammer about. You can write me in my emails and disagree or agree, doesn't matter. You're free to speak freely with me. With respect, please. But submission does not mean control. Okay, ladies? I'll look that up and start studying that. Submission does not mean control. Submission has nothing to do with control. All right. Just put that there. Number 26, and the last one for tonight, and I'll continue on another day. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law, Law, of kindness. Kindness. A virtuous woman does not need to curse, scream, yell, or be verbally abusive, or demanding to move anything that needs to be moved, or disciplined, or guided, or requested. She doesn't need to do any of that. A virtuous woman has no need to be passive aggressive, abusive and toxic, and screaming and hateful and mean and overly demanding because she has unrealistic expectations. A virtuous woman knows her limitations, and we all have them. A virtuous woman loves herself enough to say, I need the rest. I'm going to get the proper rest. Yes, I might stay up late at night, but not too late. I have to rest, or else I can't do what I need to do for the next day. A virtuous woman will take care of her body, will dress modestly. You can still look very beautiful and even sensuous without having everything hanging out. Okay, you don't have to have your breasts hanging out, your butt hanging out. You don't have to have a lot of makeup on. You don't have to wear fancy wigs to spend hundreds of, thousands of dollars on anything to look like a beautiful woman and very attractive and even sensual woman, by covering your body up. You don't have to necessarily wear a burqa or anything like that. And being in the Western world, if you choose to, that is your choice, and I respect that. I like them myself. I don't wear them because, number one, it take a lot of material to cover this body. Okay, it would take a lot, but you can still wear a beautiful dress or a beautiful pair of pants and just look absolutely delicious to your husband or to your beloved. So you don't have to look like a hoochie coochie girl in order to be beautiful. You really don't. But that mouth, ladies, I do go out sometimes. I know I'm mostly a hermit, but I do go out sometimes. And ladies, watch their mouth. Please don't go out in public cursing and acting a fool. Speak proper English. Try not to use slang. You get farther. Lower your voice. Lower the pitch of your voice. Be persistent. Okay. But don't scream and yell because it obviously doesn't make things better. It makes things worse. It really does. Learn to draw in that knee jerk response and replace it with an action, not a reaction. Because an action takes listening very carefully, really understanding what's being said, and then reacting because you've thought out what you need to say and the point you need to get across. So yes, that 3126. I think almost every woman could use a little bit of help with that one. Watch your mouth, ladies. That mouth has power. It can do more than just hurt someone's feelings. It can ruin lives. Be careful with that mouth, okay? Well, anyway, that's the information tonight. Thank you for coming. If you've been here live tonight, thank you very much for being here. If you've been here, I hope I get to uh, see you folks again. If anybody's come in or sees this later on, drop me an email. I think my email's in there somewhere. And give me an idea. So we'll finish up this the next time I come on. We'll finish up Virtuous Woman next time I come on, and hopefully I'll have enough time to tell you about how I almost got ate by a bear. Yep, how I almost got ate by a bear in my God, West Virginia. My God, West Virginia. What a beautiful place, West Virginia. Oh my goodness. If you get a chance to go to West Virginia, if nothing else, just to drive through, maybe do a camp out, please do. It's absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. In any case, I'm out of here, folks. It's good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. You're still doing what needs to be done. So, for us hearth keepers of the earth, I bid you good night and sweet dreams, and please be kind to yourself and someone else in your days to come. Good night.